how would you assess in a marriage situation that if your spouse or so on and so forth is really someone who believes in your goodness? In today's counseling sessions and over the last 1 to 2 years, we have done innumerable counselings where we have tried to address the conflicts at home. Now, most of the times, though we kind of suggest that conflicts need to be addressed because Indian societies are very prone to non-breakage of marriage because of the societal pressures, etc. But there are scenarios where we also went ahead and suggested that if you really feel extremely claustrophobic on your neck, you take your call. Now, I'll give you some basic tips as to you can understand that how just after the marriage, whether your husband, your wife truly wants good for you, or they're just trying to put a mask onto them. Now, one thing is fundamentally understood, that since the bride and the groom come from different families, their upbringings are different, there would be small conflicts. So I think conflict resolution have to be done. But when there are gross errors and gross issues, then there are the points. So if you find that your husband or your wife are not understanding the basics, again I'm saying don't get into scenarios which are the common ones, but not understanding the basics, then there is an issue where you need to deep dive and understand. Number one. Number two is that if your spouse or your other partner knew that these are the things that your priorities are in life, and after marriage they completely shift, then that's a red flag for you. Number three, if you feel that there are scenarios where there is a compromise of your ethos, values and ethics, you try to put forward very clearly and transparently, but still if you see that there is a compromise of ethos, values and ethics, that's a red flag. I know people who were vegan and there was a compromise of her ethos and values, and there was a red flag, and she chose that she needed to lead her life on her own. If you feel that there are a lot of things where you are being victimized, have an open dialogue and discussion. If in the open dialogue and discussion you find that nothing is yielding out, that's a red flag. There are multiple such kind of red flags. For example, if you find that your spouse do not really want you to grow or accelerate more than him or her, then somewhere in that equation that the other person does not want the other person's well-being. So in a relationship, if the well-being factor is missing, that's a red flag. So like this, we have a host of understandings based on the counselings that we do, where we can get the red flags and say, hey, these are the points to really keep a tab, that does this person really wants you to be happy, or it's a case of bondage syndrome. Now, bondage syndrome is a different podcast that we have done, where in bondage syndrome, typically what happens is that the bondage starts over days, weeks, months, years. The bondage becomes a part of regular routine, and then the bondage is no more a bondage, and then the next generation gets into bondage, and so on and so forth, which is the most negative thing that can happen. So what I'm trying to say is that in a scenario where there are societal pressure, societal marriages, anyone and everyone should doubly understand the society is just an instrument, because we have made society as an instrument. It's like self-proclaimed United States of America or self-proclaimed dollar as the international currency. It's like that. But what is important is that each one of us, each one of you need to be happy and joyful. It is your life. If you are unhappy, there's no one really comes to safeguard and protect you. In my early days, probably I had not understood these things to the depth that I understand today. I wish that everyone need to understand this, that it is your life, it is you who need to make the clear decision of your life, and you have all rights to stay in joy and bliss. I have given a couple of pointers. There are multiple such pointers that we have seen. Feel free to reach out to us. in case if you want any one of us to coach, guide, or mentor you in your relationship ahead. Thank you so much.